folks, Will here again with Happily Ever Outdoors. So, as you can see, it is a horrible, nasty, cold, wet, rainy November day here in the state of New Jersey. So it kind of messed up my plans on doing another gear review today. However, I thought it would be a great opportunity to check out something I picked up from Walmart. I got this for $1 and I saw it, I just couldn't resist. I figured I would give it a shot. This is going to be Insta-Fire Fire Starter. You've got all kinds of stuff going on in the packaging here. You can see it was featured on Shark Tank. They claim that it is military grade. It says no harmful chemicals, eco-friendly, and smokeless, which is good if all that's true. And it's made in the USA, which is kind of cool. But is it really military grade? Does it really work? That is the question. Now, of course, it would be easy to take this stuff and just test it under normal conditions. But I mean, you can start a fire with, paper and cardboard at home when everything is completely dry and you've got a good lighter and all that stuff. So I figured, why not get this out in the cold, get this out in the wet, get this out in the wind, and see if it'll still work as advertised. After all, according to the packaging, it says it will light wet wood because it burns at nearly 1,000 degrees. It says it'll burn in winds up to 30 miles per hour. It'll burn on snow, and it'll even float and burn on water. So we're definitely gonna have to test that. It says non-volatile, no unexpected flare-ups, and a long burn time. It says 1/8 of a cup will burn for 5 to 7 minutes. It's supposed to have a 5-year shelf life. Comes in a waterproof pouch, you can see. So once you tear that open, it's not resealable, but it is waterproof up until you open it. And it says no harmful chemicals, safe to store near food. And it says its ash is a natural fertilizer. So it's supposed to be, healthy. So we'll see. A lot of times, the fire starting products that really work well, honestly, are the ones that have a lot of those chemicals in there that aren't so good for you. So we'll see if this thing actually works as good as it says it's supposed to work, given the fact that it's supposed to be pretty much natural. All right, guys, let's do this. Alright guys, so we're just going to start off with something real simple. I've got a couple of different fire starting methods that we're going to test out to see how easily this stuff ignites. Now, bear in mind that this is only advertised as lighting up to 4 fires. So this isn't made for you to use like a tiny little pinch and expect a really long burn. But for the purposes of just seeing how well it's going to take a spark, we're just going to use a little bit just to make it stretch. Very interesting look to it, different than what I expected. It's more of a, I don't know how you would describe it, it's like pellets. I kind of expected it to be more wood shaving-ish, but this is interesting. So it definitely took really easy with a Bic lighter, that's for sure. It's flaring up pretty good. Getting a good amount of heat off of there too. Alright guys, so I have to say I'm pretty impressed. We're getting a pretty long burn here, especially given that we're out in the rain right now. So we'll go ahead and put that out. And we'll go ahead and try what I would say is probably the next easiest method, which would be a large ferro rod. Wow, look at that. Even though that was not even a good strike, it was just a very small spark, but it took really easily. Alright, so lastly guys, we're going to try what I consider to be the least ideal out of these three, and this is a magnesium block fire starter. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it is a much smaller striking surface. We're not going to use any of the magnesium, obviously, because we're testing this, but I want to see how well this works with a small ferro. There we go. So it took a little more doing to get enough heat on there to get it going, but it still took easily. Alright guys, so one more thing I want to test, because I think it's a pretty substantial claim, is whether or not this will actually burn while it's in standing water. And that's really going to tell you how well this is going to work in more extreme wet conditions. So we're going to go ahead and test this out and see if we can get this stuff to light in standing water with a ferro rod. Well, there you go. Alright, let's try that one more time a little closer so you guys can see a little better. Alright guys, so I think you can see there that it definitely consistently burns in standing water as advertised, which is pretty cool. But lastly, I want to do a very practical test, and that's going to be to see if we can use this as a tinder to get a small fire going and to maintain it long enough, given the fact that all of the wood and kindling and everything else that we're going to get out here is going to be wet, and if we can keep it going long enough to actually boil some water. Alright guys, so we were finally able to get this to a rolling boil for a couple of minutes. It definitely wasn't easy, I'm not going to lie. It is really wet out here, so I had to do some searching to find some stuff good enough to really keep a fire going. One little trick that helped me out today, if you're ever out in the woods, it's been raining, everything is soaking wet, one place you can look is look at trees, the lower branches. A lot of times those will die off as the trees get bigger, and I was able to find a lot of low branches that were still attached to the tree they were completely dead, completely dried out, and they were actually shielded from the rain by the higher branches. So one little trick, sometimes you can find stuff like that will help you out, and you don't have to do a lot of work processing it. And that was what was really able to allow me to do what I needed to do today to get this water boiling. So this would be good to go at this point. Theoretically, it should be safe to drink, or if you're using it for making coffee, food, anything like that, you'd be good to go. So the original question and the point of this video was to see if that Insta-Fire Fire Starter that you can get for $1 from Walmart actually works. And I think we've pretty well demonstrated that it does. A couple little tricks to it that I noticed. One, because it's kind of pellet based, you want to make sure you don't pile it up too thick. And if it starts to try to go out for you, you can kind of stir it a little bit and it'll light back up, because that top layer, if that burns off and there's unburned material underneath, it won't ignite. So you might have to move it around a little bit if you got it piled up too thick. But it does work. It works in wet conditions. We saw that it would ignite floating in water like it's advertised to do. So, I mean, it works. Now, that's not to say there aren't better tenders out there, or maybe even better tenders that you could make yourself with a little bit of work. But I think we've proven that it does work as advertised. Hopefully you enjoyed this video testing out Insta-Fire Fire Starter. If you did, make sure you hit like on this video so you'll keep seeing more content like this. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.